Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's Isaac from Isaac and the Lich, and I hope you guys are enjoying a wonderful day. Today, I want to talk to you about a little bit of something that I'm very good at, and that would be role-playing and MMOs. Today's little special event is Isaac's Guide to Role-Playing Roles in terms of tanks, DPS, and healers. Today, we're dealing with tanks. Those big mounds of muscles and armor that keep your ass from getting turned into grass by the nearest dragon. So, say hello, say thank you, and of course, let's get into it. So what is a tank? Well, the tank is primarily the heaviest armored character, be it usually, depending on the game, whether it's the warrior or the paladin, or sometimes in pencil paper, even the barbarian can also be a tank. Hell, sometimes even the monk can take a crack at it. But usually, the character that's the tank is the one with the highest HP and, of course, the most armor. Tanks are designed, built, and made specifically to take any kind of punishment that a game can throw at them. However, depending on the game, for example in Paper Pencil, it may not be as easy for the tank to gain aggro. In a lot of video games, this is a lot easier for tanks, as they have things like taunts. And of course, their attacks usually include things and benefits where it includes bonuses to their aggro, making them the most hated and want to be killed thing on the entire map. Now, for games like, well, I've definitely heard people say, oh, tanks shouldn't have to use taunts, tanks shouldn't have to use taunts. My usual response would be, if they don't want you to use taunts, what the hell do they give you the taunt for? But, usually there's always one jackass or another who decides to try and taunt something away from you simply because they don't like the fact that you're using taunts in WoW, which is why I like Final Fantasy XIV so much better. I can actually taunt in Final Fantasy XIV if necessary to keep the enemies on me. Usually, however, a good little tactic for either WoW or Final Fantasy is to rotate your attacks on individual enemies as you go. If you have multiple enemies, switch your targets. Do a full rotation on each one, and you should be able to actually keep their attention just fine. There is a lot to do with tanking, and of course, you, the tank, are primarily, your job is one thing. Piss everything off and make it want you dead more than it wants the rest of the party dead. And I do mean everything. However, doing this, it is advised that you should only pull a number of enemies that you believe that your group can handle. Keep in mind of what your DPS capabilities are as well as your healer. Your healer should never see the light of any kind of combat. Their butt should be way the hell behind you, throwing health spells at you, while you and the DPS get, clobbered. Unless they're ranged DPS, in which they better be back there with the damn healer. No offense, mages, but you ain't much good when you're got a golem outside your face. But keep this in mind. Healers, when it comes to your healer, stay in range. Your healer cannot heal you if you're halfway across the map. The healer is going to sit there and stare at you like you're a dumbass the whole time. Speaking of also classes and how to help, DPS. Little side note for you. Don't run ahead of the tank. I don't care if you can throw 10,000 damage a turn. Attack, you are squishy. If you run ahead and you die, it is not the tank's fault. It is entirely your own. So I don't want to sit here and get spammed in my party box. How, lol, you suck, tank. You can't do nothing, when you're 30 rooms ahead of the rest of the party, and we're just sitting here going, well then, who wants to bet how quick he's gonna die? So, please, do us all a favor. I don't care how impatient you are. take a chill pill, sit back, and wait for everyone else. Your time is not more valuable, and we don't have anything else to do. That's kind of why we're playing a game. But seriously, guys, thank your tank, because that tank takes a lot of abuse. A lot of reason why people don't like playing tanks is simply because of that. Poor tanks get called lame and terrible all day long. And all they're trying to do is keep the party alive. They're basically your meat shield. So please, please be nice to the tank. Without that meat shield, you'd be paste at the bottom of the big bad's boots. And you don't want to be big bad boot paste, do you? So, of course, like I said, be nice to your tanks, everybody. And tanks, don't forget as well to learn your rotations. That stuff is really important. Read your action or abilities. Study them. Get to know them well. Know what abilities are great with combos. Again, one of the great things that I absolutely love about Final Fantasy XIV is they literally give you a course on, hey you, here's how to tank. Not so much with WoW. With WoW, it's more, oh, you're a tank? Okay, have fun in a dungeon. Go figure it out. So, yeah, thanks. Thank you, Square Enix. You're amazing. But seriously, the tank is meant to have lots of armor and lots of health. So keep an eye on in the terms of tank, for games like Final Fantasy, keep an eye on your vitality, your strength, and armor. Those are the 3 stats you really need for a tank. In the case of, well, I believe it's endurance instead of vitality, but whatever the case, you want the stat that improves your damage, your defense, that means the amount of damage you can take while you're sitting there getting pounded. Basically, you want the big bad boss to try and punch you in the face and then break all of his bones because your face is freaking titanium. So, you are literally the one who is built and designed for one purpose. They can throw, in other words, as a tank, if they throw a nuke at you and you just brush it off your shoulders like, is that all you got? Then you're doing your job well. If a dainty little leaf lands on you and you die, you need to rethink your stat block and all your gear. And I can't even figure out how bad you can make a tank that way. Like, can a tank be made that bad? I'm not even sure. Of course, then again, I know a certain mad scientist. When I say mad scientist, I'm talking about a certain player in our Wednesday group who makes interesting characters. I wonder if he'll take that as a challenge. How to make the worst possible tank. That's an interesting thought. But, hey, maybe one of you guys have made the worst awful tank in the world. Let us know down in the comments what game it was, what terrible stat choices and armor choices you picked, and certainly what abilities you picked to get there. Well, I'm sure nobody will want to make that terrible tank. You will give them a good roadmap on what not to do. But again, as the tank goes, it's pretty straightforward. Rush in first, get everything mad at you specifically, and make sure that you are the top of every single monster in the dungeon's murder death list, no matter what it is. And make sure that you can take every single thing they can throw at you. So, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this little tank guide. Take care, stay safe out there, and tank on, my brothers.